What is up, guys? It's Gaming back at it with another Farm Simulator 17 tree services video. Today, guys, I'm being joined by Kayla. Kayla, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
So we aren't actually, she's not actually here with me. You know, she's not just a ghost that's, in my ceiling or something. We're on the phone, but the reason we're doing this video is because we're not actually going to be able to make our vlog this Sunday. However, chances are we'll probably be making it either next Sunday and it'll be going up on Monday, or this upcoming Friday and uploading the video on Saturday. However, I'm not exactly sure, but one of those 2 days there will be a guaranteed video coming out, obviously, from the both of us. But I figured until then, just to hold you guys down for a while. I've got Kayla here on the phone with me, so you guys can basically hear our conversations and stuff. So, you know, these are the closest things I have to a podcast. I've actually got some upcoming things to talk about with politics. That's I know that's kind of controversial on my channel, but I actually find it quite funny. It's I saw somebody on Facebook saying this. I'm gonna read it out to you guys while playing. So forgive me if I'm driving bad in the game, but I'm also getting Kayla's input on this as well. So I just found it funny because the way my aunt was on this post. So let me go. Not my aunt, my grandmother. So let me go ahead and type her name in. I'm not actually going to be showing you guys the post, obviously, because, well, I don't want you guys going over there and harassing her because politics and crap, you know? So, if I can find it. Alright, so, where is it? There we go, okay. So, somebody shared a post talking about Trump and some other stuff, and basically, she said, and he tagged her in it. So, obviously, it appears on her home screen for Facebook, and, basically, she started complaining. She's like, George, I'm not interested in seeing comments on Trump, the Trump. Get a grip and realize he's got to go. You can defend him to someone else, but don't waste my time trying to justify Trump and his promises. Trump has got to go. So this guy, I don't know who he is. I kind of like him, though. Never met him, though. He's like, no problem, the truth will come out. At least he didn't lie to people like Hillary did. And Obama sold us out to Iran, more people on welfare, out of work, national debt, yada, yada, yada. He starts complaining. She writes this whole big paragraphs about food stamps and stuff like that. Again, you guys know how I feel about that. I like certain things that Trump says, but with going on to say taking away welfare and food stamps, I'm kind of against that because there are families that literally live paycheck to paycheck and need that kind of stuff. And again, I support that because at one point in my life, you know, when my father died, my mother was at that stage. So again, I'm against that going away because I would hate to see families like that having the struggle. But anyways, she starts going on and saying he needs to be impeached. And this goes out there to all of you guys. And this just annoys me every time I see it because so many people say impeach Trump. Now, I'm going to read you guys the definition of impeachment. Okay, so impeachment is the action of calling into question the integrity or validity of something. Alright, U.S. definition. A charge of misconduct against the holder of a public office. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if that's the case, that means Trump's been impeached many times, right? What do you think about that?
Basically does.
Yeah, so I said that because, I was just tired of it. I was in school, you know, I was just telling my grandmother to shut up at that point. But, I wasn't being rude about it. I'm just, you know, making her shut up by being smart. I'm
basically. I'm the same way.
Yeah. Let me ask you.
My mom, she says the same stuff, and there's some things that she likes that Trump does say, and then there are things that she finds that is very stupid.
Yeah, the thing he said about his daughter, you know, I mean, I understand he's saying that if he was her age and they weren't related, he knows he's got a beautiful daughter. I get what he's saying, but the way he said it, it just made him sound like a pedophile.
Perverted and stuff.
Yeah, the way he made it perverted, the way it sounded, you know.
The way it came out.
Yeah, the way it came out, basically. Let me just ask you something, and for my subscribers out there, what's your your stance in this political situation? Were you for the election? If you could vote, would you vote for Trump, Clinton, or were you just undecided?
I was undecided, really, because for Hillary, you can see, I I'm not with abortion and everything, or partial abortion.
Yeah.
Partial abortion, what that means is you're basically taking the brains out of a nearly fully developed child and killing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not with that.
I'm 100% against that. Like, I don't like abortion of any type, but of course, if there's an event, like, let's say, you end up pregnant at a young age because either you were raped or something like that happens, you don't want to keep the baby because there's a chance it could either kill you or it would have harmful effects against you, or the baby would be born with a defect. I understand abortion then, but it would have to be done in the early stages of the child, first month, second month.
Before the child was even developed.
Yeah, before the child's even developed, when it's just a small speck. But, when it's like 8-9 months in and you're thinking about having an abortion, you're basically killing a fully formed baby. And, again, I'm very much against that. That just doesn't go right with what I believe in. And, I would never, personally, I wouldn't care the circumstances. If I ever have a child and I bring a child into this world, there's no way I'd ever, let my wife have an abortion.
I wouldn't even think about killing the child.
Yeah, even, I mean...
Like, if we didn't want the child, we could just give it up for adoption.
Exactly, but, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I wouldn't do that. Now, obviously, Trump is not 100% against abortion, okay? But he doesn't like it, obviously. And something else that obviously made me a little bit more, toward Trump is that he's a Christian. Obviously, I'm a Christian, my girlfriend's a Christian. We actually know each other through church.
We do.
Which is actually something kind of nice. So, again, that's something that just, made him, sit right with me. As well as that, Clinton has, I believe it's 32,000 deleted emails, right? What is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, let me tell you guys
what about the emails, too.
Yeah, let me tell you what she said those emails were. Now, I'm not saying because I don't know. I could be wrong. I highly doubt it, but she said those emails were all emails for her daughter's wedding. Now, I don't know about you guys, but even if those emails were 32,000 words each, that's, what is that? That's like a Harry Potter novel right there, right?
Yeah, it is.
And Harry Potter novels, as you guys know, are thick books.
They're very big.
Those are books that take you a good long while to read. They're not just you sit down for one night and you read them. Those are books that take you weeks to finish. So,
sometimes even months.
Yeah, so even if those emails were one word each, that means she had 32,000 words, a Harry Potter novel, for her daughter's wedding. Now, yes, I understand maybe there needed to be a couple of emails, maybe 100 emails for her daughter's wedding, because again, she's, the daughter of Bill Clinton, and again, she's a child of somebody who's got money. Okay, but still, 32,000 emails, I just don't think that's possible. That's impossible. So, obviously, that's why, again, I'm for Trump. But, that, I saw something else. What was the other thing? I had, a bunch of stuff to talk about for today. It's, a little vlog video while I do stuff. Crap. But, I just wanted to focus on this because I've been getting a lot of people commenting on, something I posted so long ago on Instagram. Because I started putting I changed my Instagram name back to the Instagram that's in the description a while ago. And I've gotten a decent amount of comments on a bunch of, I posted a picture of my TV for when the political debates were going on. And I covered up half the TV with a blanket, and I said, it's the only way I can watch the political debates. I covered up Clinton's face. Yeah, exactly. Because, it's just, something there. And I got a lot of backlash for it. Yeah.
I'll have to call you back. I'm gonna eat some shrimp.
Alright. I don't eat shrimps, it's funny. I can't eat it.
Answer the phone because I'll be late. You might pick someone.
Alright, bye.
I love you.
Love you too, bye. Alright. So getting back into it, so she'll obviously call me back, probably in the middle of the video, and I'll answer it. So let me read the rest of it. So, basically, let me go ahead and read it. 19,000 emails, there's no way that they were all for her wedding. And, again, he is not going to be leaving office. Okay, so just get over it. Okay, y'all need to get over it. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Red Dead Redemption 2 being pushed back. Red Dead Redemption 2 has been pushed back all the way to spring of 2018, I believe it was. So basically, spring is, 2018. That's next year. And now I'm going to tell you guys what the good and the bad of that is, the long and the short of it, basically. Because a lot of you guys may hear that news and be like, what? Why would Rockstar do such a thing? That's so stupid. They're going to lose money. They're going to lose, supporters. And it's going to be bad. Well, no, that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. One, that means they have more time to develop, to create, to basically perfect Red Dead Redemption 2 as opposed to normal. Now, what I mean by that is, if they would have done it, and released it this year, I think it was summer of this year is what they were talking about, then basically what would have happened is there would have been a lot of, number one, issue, there would have been defects, there would have been a lot of bugs that they have to fix. Obviously, that's not something you want upon launch. Now they have until spring of 2018 to fix those things, as well as that, they also have, that means they also have more time to develop other Rockstar Games titles, such as Grand Theft Auto Online, Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Another game series that they have going on is Bully. They recently, there was basically a leak that Bully 2 was in development, which is obviously pretty cool. I actually played Bully at one point. It was a fun game. It was on the PS2. I really did love playing it. It was something that I just, when I played it, I had fun playing with it. It was a good game, and it was just something I had fun playing. I enjoyed it. It was basically GTA 5, but as a kid. So instead of stealing a car, you stole a bike. Instead of robbing people and, robbing gas stations, you'd go out and you'd steal some kid's lunch money. And it was really cool, and, it was really fun. And, again, instead of, breaking into somebody's house and stealing, their TV, you break into someone's locker and steal their hat. So, again, it was a really good game, really cool. I really enjoyed it, and, again, they're coming out with Bully 2, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, that's basically other recent news that's been announced. As well as that, there's also been some, news about them not basically doing anything at E3, which, again, that's something else in and of itself. That's something in and of itself. So, yeah. Hold on, let me go ahead and pull up the rest of the news that I had. And actually, I want to go ahead and get back on this, because again, I've been getting a lot of backlash since I re-put my Instagram in the description. By the way, it's in the description again. But basically, I have been getting a decent amount of backlash from it, because a lot of you guys, and I'm not saying all of you guys, but a decent amount of people have been messaging me saying, oh, you're a Trump supporter, you're racist. Now, honestly, I'm not racist, okay? I do not hate Mexicans. In fact, if you guys know me, and you really know me, you guys know my father is Mexican. Now, my real father is not Mexican. My real father is not Mexican. My real father is me. Okay? But, he is not good. He killed him. And ever since then, I've been raised by my stepfather. He's Mexican, and I consider myself Mexican. I know I'm not Mexican, okay? I personally know that. In fact, I'll show you guys a picture of my real father right now. Okay? That's my real father right there. I'm not Mexican. I say I'm Mexican all the time because I don't like to say real stories. But, yeah. My real father is white. However, my stepfather, who I consider my real father, is Mexican. My grandmother, who I consider closer to me than my real grandmother, is Mexican. My uncles and aunts that are on my stepfather's side, who I consider to be more closer to me than my uncle on my grandmother's, on my father's side, my real father's side, and my aunt's side. They're Mexican, and I consider them closer than the real people in my family, because the real people in my family turn their back on me when I need them in my life the most. So again, I don't like people in my family. Of course, you guys know, that's just not me. I'm not racist. It's not something that I am. Obviously me saying that, oh, I'm a Trump supporter, obviously makes me sound racist because, what I say. Alright. So, again, I am kind of against the way he's like, oh, build a wall, take out all the Mexicans, and all Mexicans are taking the jobs and they're bringing drugs and crime. Okay, that's something I didn't like the way he said it. Now, I understand the way he said it. He said that they were. Now, a lot of people, and this is a common misconception with a lot of people, with Trump. And, again, I'm going to defend Trump, and I'm also going to talk about Clinton a little bit more. Basically, so, something that a lot of people have a misconception about Trump is the fact that, the way he said that he wants to get, he wants to throw Mexicans out that are living off of, the government benefits. What he means by that is he means that the Mexicans and people like immigrants and all that who are in U.S. prisons, who are living off of the U.S. prison system, where they're eating 3 meals a day, they're having a warm bed to sleep in, they're having AC. Those are the ones he's kicking out, because again, that's taking up government money, it's taking up government time, and they're legal immigrants. They're not legal immigrants. They're not U.S. citizens. So really and truly, they don't get in the U.S. prison anyways. And if they are in prison, let's say you're Mexican, and let's say you commit a crime in the U.S. and you're not a U.S. citizen. You're an immigrant, and you're living in U.S. prison right now from living off U.S. benefits in that prison. Really and truly, you don't need to be in the U.S. Okay, you committed a crime. You're now living off of U.S. benefits. That's putting the U.S. in debt and all that stuff. So that's one of the things that it meant. Now, Trump, the way Trump said it, there's not going to be Mexicans. We're building a wall and telling Mexicans to get out. That's why. Now, another thing, the reason that Trump wanted Mexico to pay for the wall is because Trump is basically, as you guys know, the United States is in debt. Very much so. Okay, we are in $18 trillion in debt, which, again, that is a decent amount of money right there. Okay? And one of Mexico pay for the wall, number one, because Mexico is costing us so much money by, number one, having, their prisoners, not their prisoners, but having Mexicans coming to the United States and crimes, and then having them live off of government benefits of being in prison. Because, again, prison life, living in a prison, having 3 meals a day is better than, not living in a prison and having no, 1 meal a day to struggle to be able to live. Now, of course, Trump did eventually find a way for Mexico to pay for the wall with sales tax for exporting food and importing goods. Okay? I can't remember what it's called, but no free trade or whatever. A little bit touchy on that. That's why I try to avoid talking about it. Just pretend I didn't talk about it. You guys can research it yourself. But yeah. Then I also talked about the nukes that Trump got on Syria. And again, I got a lot of background. I hate when people look at my stuff on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, and all that stuff. If you have my Facebook, then you are special. You're a special type of subscriber if you have my Facebook, because not many of my subscribers have my Facebook. I do not like leaving my Facebook out. However, if you do have it, then you're a special type of subscriber. You're probably a really long time subscriber. So, again, that's why you have my Facebook. But basically, and obviously that means I don't get messages from people on Facebook. But basically, I get, I don't like getting anything about my, what I post on my Instagram. Like I posted on Instagram, Trump dropped nukes on Syria. I said, it was about time. Soon he's going to be dropping nukes on North Korea, because they do not know how to stop. They do not know how to shut up, and they don't. Okay, whatever we got, the leader of North Korea, I don't think it's Ching Wong, or whatever. I don't know his name, but basically him trying to get to Trump by doing a missile test. He's gonna end up getting, Trump's gonna end up saying, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not gonna let you, talk around and do this kind of stuff. I'm gonna end up taking you over. It's not gonna happen. I'm not letting you freaking, have this happen. Because he doesn't want to interfere. Now, again, Trump dropped those 49 Tomahawks onto Syria because they were doing chemical weapon testing. Now, again, that in and of itself is bad, because it's not right. Okay, you're not supposed to be testing chemical weapons on your own people. And it's just, he was heartbroken to see, children dying and in pain on the video when they did their weapon test. It just, it made him feel pain, because he just did not feel like he was right. And he felt like he had to do something. Now, again, a lot of people would be like, oh, well, he shouldn't have gotten involved. It was none of his business. Yes, be that as it may. Maybe it wasn't his business, okay? He could have just let it be and let them be. But he didn't. The reason he didn't was because he knows that they are going to try something on America, okay? He doesn't want that happening. He doesn't want that, them getting an inch. Because there's certain people and there's certain places that if you give them an inch, they take a foot. So, let's say alternative. Let's say he left them alone. Let's say he saw that video and decided to do nothing about it. Number one, he probably would have gotten backlash for not doing anything about it. But number two, he would have had a lot of issues, because they would have thought, oh, well, he doesn't mind. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's kill more of our people. Let's start killing Americans. You know, then guess what? Trump would have had to act, and he would have gotten more backlash if he didn't, if they would have started testing on Americans, because really and truly, nobody wants that to happen. Now, again, there's been a lot of issues. Like, I'm really getting tired of it because I'm actually thinking about changing my Instagram name, blocking some people, and then just taking my Instagram out of the picture, because Snapchat is easy. I don't have to add you as a friend for you to be able to view my story. Like, you can view my story and not be a friend. And you can also, you know, I can change it so that way you can view my story without being a friend, but you can't message me without being a friend. Basically, unless you're a friend, you can't view my story. Or like, alright, my settings. If you're one of my friends, you can message me. If you're not one of my friends, you can view my story, but you can't message me. Now, I could change that and make it so you can't view my story unless you're my friend, but I don't want to do that. What I prefer to have is, in order to watch my story, you have to be my friend, in order to view my story, you just have to type in my name to add me, and then, you know, basically, after, you know, you type in my name to go add me, even if I haven't accepted your request, you'll still be able to view my story. Now, my messages are different. If you try to message me and I haven't added you as a friend, your message will not go through until I add you as a friend. So, that's what I like about my Snapchat. However, Instagram is different. Instagram, you can send me a message and it tells me, you know, to send me a message. Yeah, I kind of dislike it a little bit. However, I'm not going to, you know, worry about it too much. I'm trying to avoid worrying about it. However, when I got backlash about those Syrian Tomahawk things, it kind of annoyed me a little bit. You know, I was like, oh, wow, dude. That happened so long ago as well. It happened a decent amount of time ago, and I'm like, you know, it's kind of sad. You're still mad about that. You're still upset. Like, get over it, you know. It annoys me. But, again, I am active about what I believe in, and I'm going to tell you guys, again, what I believe in. You know, my beliefs are, I'm very outgoing with them as well. I'm not going to hide my beliefs because, oh, I think it'll hurt your feelings, you know. If I believe something's wrong, I'm going to tell you I believe it's wrong. Alright? Like, for real, that's something that I started fighting with me and my aunt. She's like, you know, I'm like, that's just wrong. You're dating a 30-year-old. That you dated a 30-year-old. She's like, no, it's not wrong. I'm like, you know, whatever. You got mental issues. You got some serious issues. Because, again, that's just wrong. Okay? Everybody knows what they were going after. And I'm not going to get into that. I did a whole video on that. But still, I tell my beliefs out loud. I'm very, very vivid with them. Okay? I'm actually, no lie, in my entire class, the only Trump supporter in my class. And that is obviously very difficult. Okay, I'm the only one that, you know, believes what Trump says, and it doesn't believe that he's a racist. Because I look at the facts. I look at the way everything is laid out. Okay? And again, I always, you know, again, people always do backlash for it. Now, I'm honestly fine with that. I'm fine with getting, you know, backlash for being a Trump supporter because, again, I know what it is. But, really and truly, we need some change. Now, I know it's kind of ironic that the person that Trump was running against, and the way Trump said it, he said he wants change. If you elect Clinton, it'll be 4 more years of Obama. And he actually believes it because, you know, he doesn't want 4 more years of Obama because that put us in debt. And, you know, basically, again, he's basically sold us out to Iran. Now, we need a business person in office. The reason I say that is because we are $18 billion in debt. Now, you could say, oh, he's been bankrupt how many times? Like 18, I believe it was. You could say that, yes. Okay, true, he has. He's been bankrupt. But keep in mind, he's a rich person, number one. Number two, he's a businessman. So, when they get bankrupt, they file for bankruptcy, doesn't mean that they've lost every penny. Okay? Just means they've lost a decent amount of money. Alright? Another thing is that, when he said a small loan of $1 million, when he said that a long time ago, like, now I've been over all of this, but I have to go over it again. Small loan of $1 million is relative to realty and buying and selling houses, okay? Because if I say, oh, I'm going to give you a small loan of $1 million, $1 million to basically have a laundry, that is saying, oh, that is not a small loan of $1 million. That is a very large loan. However, a small loan of $1 million in realty is maybe 2 or 3 houses, getting them all built at the most 4, and then selling them. Okay, so you know, 2 or 3 properties to sell. That is a small loan. That is a small loan. However, for me in car dealing, because that is what I do for a living, let me adjust my face camera really quickly. So for me in car dealing, $1 million saying that's a small loan would be very, very wrong. Okay, because that is not a small loan for what I do for a living. However, a small loan for me, what I do for a living, would be about $15,000-$20,000. That'd be enough to get me, let's assume that each car is $1,500, or even better, let's assume each car is $1,000. That's 20 cars. Okay, let's assume my parents give me $30,000 as a loan to start up my business. Let's say as soon as I turn 18, they say take $30,000 out of their bank account and say, listen, Jason, we're trusting you. We're giving you half the money we have in our bank account right now. There's $30,000. Do good with it. Let's say I buy 15 cars for $1,500. Okay, that is a small loan right there. Okay, or let me give it to you relative similar to his case. His father gave him a small loan of $1 million relative to him making money. Basically, let's say I only get 3 cars. Okay, so and keep in mind he's built a house. So if one of those houses falls, he's got a screw. Okay, let's say my parents give me 30, 40. Let's say my parents give me $4,500. They take the bare minimum out of their bank account and say, here, Jason, $4,500 to go, basically make a business. And let's say I buy 3 cars, and one of them breaks down on the way of me bringing it home. And I don't have any more investing money, so I have to keep that car, or I have to either keep the car and make some more money off of the other 2, buy another one, and I only have 2 again, and take the rest of the money that I made profit from this first one, and use that money to fix the first car. Or I could take the car, junk it, and cut my losses. Okay, that's basically the situation Trump was in. Because if he would have messed up on the house that was built, he would have not had that much money. Okay, but again, this is a difference. And again, I believe that we need that. I believe we Americans need that. Now, another thing that Trump recently has been getting backlash for is for what he's got in his in the White House, because he made some changes in the White House, which again, I'm not going to comment on these changes simply because it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's wrong, but it's like it's a little bit too controversial. There's certain things I won't comment on. So basically, Trump in his office, as all presidents do, has a picture of another president to basically, I guess, guide them essentially, and make them want to be more like them. So Obama had Abraham Lincoln. Now, Donald Trump did not have Abraham Lincoln. He changed it and put Andrew Jackson. Now, the reason Andrew Jackson, he's receiving backlash for having Andrew Jackson is because Andrew Jackson was a slave owner. Now, before we even get into this, I want to go ahead and state this about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was a slave owner. So, he was not a non-slave owner. In fact, he was actually quoted as saying, if he could have saved the Union without freeing slaves, he would have. But he had to free the slaves. Or, if he could have freed the Union without freeing the slaves, he would have. But freeing the slaves was the only way to free the Union. So he was quoted as saying, now, obviously those were different times, people thought differently, okay? Nowadays, you know that's wrong. We all know it's wrong, okay? Except for certain people who are very, messed up, and that's kind of well, I'm not going to say it's the definition. I'm not the one to judge, but it is kind of the definition of evil. To basically say that somebody needs to be your slave because of the color of their skin. Like, that's wrong in my opinion, okay? But again, here she is. So, let me catch her up to speed. Kayla, alright, let me ask you something. Do you know who Trump has as his political president picture in his office?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. So, Trump, catching up speed, Trump put Andrew Jackson in his office. In a picture of Andrew Jackson in the White House when he became president. And he received backlash for it because Andrew Jackson was a slave owner. And he also received backlash because he didn't keep what Obama had of Abraham Lincoln, who, despite popular belief, was a slave owner. So, let me ask you, did you know about that? Did you know Abraham Lincoln was a slave owner? The person who freed slaves?
No.
Alright. And so Abraham Lincoln was a slave owner. He was a slave owner, even though it's against what popular belief he was. And he was also quoted as saying, like I just said, that if he could have saved the Union without freeing slaves, he would have. And Obama didn't receive any backlash for putting up the picture of Abraham Lincoln on his wall. However, Trump is receiving backlash for that because he put up a picture of Andrew Jackson, who was a slave owner. Now, again, I personally think it's kind of dumb for him to receive backlash for, stupid things like that, because that's not why he put him up there. He put him up there for guidance, and because Andrew Jackson actually said that he wanted Trump to run for political office a long time ago, basically. So, he also has the letter that Andrew Jackson wrote to him saying that he wanted him to run for political office in there. And a couple of other things, like, I'm receiving backlash for because I commented on my Instagram. And I'm genuinely thinking about hiding my Instagram now from you guys and deleting the video where I shouted out Kayla's Instagram, because I don't want y'all going over there and giving her hate either. Like, the past 6 messages on my DMs since I put my Instagram back up in the description have just been hate comments because I'm a Trump supporter. So, I'm genuinely thinking about turning my Instagram off there and just changing it completely. Because it's just stupid. You agree with me, right, Kayla?
Yeah, but the thing is, you shouldn't do that just because of what other people think. They're hate comments. Of course, you're gonna get hate comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get hate comments from people every day.
True.
But I just let it roll off my back because I'm like, at the end of the day, I know who I am, and that stuff they're talking about is like totally irrelevant.
True.
Like, you shouldn't think about it like it shouldn't be something that worries you or bothers you.
Well, it's not that it worries me, it just kind of annoys me that they are so stuck up that they think I'm evil. I mean, I know I'm not evil. I'm far from it. Huh?
You know I'm not evil too.
Yeah. So, again, I'm far from that. I'm not racist either. Like, I don't hate Mexicans. If you guys have seen my father, you guys know I don't hate Mexicans. My father is actually Mexican, And, again, it just kind of annoys me the way y'all react, because, you guys are in there on my DMs like, oh, you're so dumb. Like, he, has Bill Clinton's curtains in there and crap like that. And I'm like, it just a little bit annoys me, honestly, because it's the way how stuck up certain people are. But honestly, I think I need to get out of that because, I'm gonna just get a bunch of hate, like people hating on my Instagram, my Snapchat. I'm gonna end up blocking some people. So I want to just brush past that. So yeah, I do, but that's the thing. They'll sit there making, because they obviously have nothing better to do. People that do that have no lives, because they're sitting there making 6 Instagram accounts, messaging me, just to annoy me. Like, they have nothing better to do than to just sit there and do that. Like, for real. It's like those people, like, for those of you who don't know, I have like 4 jobs. I do. Huh? Alright. So basically, for those of you who don't know, I have 4 jobs. I have my YouTube job, I babysit my brother for money, and obviously do chores with my mom. I buy and sell cars with my parents, and I also, like, if I buy a car and I decide to, like me and my dad have done in the past, modify it. Like, we actually bought a van a while back, and we put a bed in the back. We made a convertible bed, so that way it goes from a chair to a bed. And it was basically a travel van. We put a TV in it with a cable, well, not a cable box, a DVD player, and we turned it into a movie van, basically. So, if, you do something like that, and you have, like, if I do something like that, and I, like, change the rims like I did on that van, and I put some nice rims on it, I'm gonna take those rims and sell. So that's basically, those are my 4 jobs. When I'm buying and selling cars, I'll have somebody who will literally have nothing better to do. Like, I sold a car to a guy. It was, I think it was a year and a half ago. I sold a guy a car. Not a guy, it was a girl. She was 17 when I sold her. She was 17. I sold her a station wagon. I think it was like a 1998 station wagon. Ford Taurus station wagon. Basically, I'm like, it had a transmission problem. I warned her that it had a transmission problem. I said, hey, listen, before I sell you this car, because I'm selling it to you out of my yard, I'm going to tell you it has a transmission problem. That's why I'm selling it for $800. That's, why I'm selling it. I'm just going to tell you now so that way you don't drive it home. Because she had a kid. She was only like 18 or like 17 or 18. She had a kid. And I'm like, so she's like, oh, don't worry, my dad's a mechanic. I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm not gonna be like, all right. So I sold her the car for $800. $800 for a freaking a station wagon. And that was the only issue. It had, other than that, it had brand new tires. It was clean. It had no outside damage. It was only the transmission. I ran it through with my scanner. I have It's not my scanner, it's my dad's scanner. He has a $1,200 scanner that can scan literally everything on the car, tells you everything wrong with the car to a point, to a T or whatever, however that saying goes. And basically, you know, I knew everything else was good. I knew it had a perfect engine, and all that stuff. So basically, I sold her the car. Now, she came back the next day saying, hey, you know, there's an issue, there's a bigger issue with the transmission. Now, I knew the transmission needed to be rebuilt. I told her that. She's like, can you give me $100 because my dad can't figure it out, so I can go to a mechanic and have them do a, like a scan on it, or not a scan, a diagnostics check. And I'm like, I already know what's wrong with it. And, you know, I felt bad for her because, again, you know, even though she was stuck up, I was like, you know, she was nice to me when I was doing the deal. So I was like, alright. I gave her $50 and I gave her a new radio for it. It was a touchscreen radio that I was going to put in my dad's truck. And basically, before that, he put a radio in it anyway, so he's like, you can sell it. So I'm like, alright, here you go. Next thing you know, she came back the next day with her mother, and her mother had a brand new, like, huge diamond ring, and they're like, you know, we need $50 so we can get a diagnostics check. So, not us doing that. So basically, I'm like, you know, trying to ignore it because, you know, whatever. But it's people like that that kind of move, because, like, I told you, you know, it had an issue like that, and it was just kind of stupid. That's, you know, the kind of thing right there. You know, one of the reasons I moved, again, was because I had stupid people like that living by me. Like, another example, and, Caleb, before I continue, what do you think of that whole situation? Like, what would you have done if that lady had come back and asked you $100 for diagnostics check, after you told her there was an issue with the transmission?
Then, like, I already told you what was wrong with the car, and you should have listened the first time before you bought it.
Exactly.
And you said your father was a mechanic, so why couldn't he have fixed the transmission?
Exactly. So, the third time, the last time she came by, and, you know, I didn't even go out there, I had my uncle go out there because I was just done dealing with this lady. She came by, and I swear to you, we were so, like, me, my mom, my dad, my uncle, and my uncle's girlfriend were walking out the door, and I had my hand on the door handle as I hear door knocks. I'm like, my little brother, I'm like, shh. I'm like just sitting there waiting there. Now, she knew I was there because my car was parked in the front, but I'm just sitting there like, I hear it again. I'm like, Tito, can you go out there and deal with this lady? He's like, alright. He went out there and started talking to her, and he's like, you know, go leave. Her mom was there sitting there with a freaking big, like, huge golden ring. Huge diamond ring. Like, this thing was huge. Diamond was freaking, like, oh my god, here it is, jumping around kind of ring. Okay? So, he's like, go. Now, her dad didn't come out. Her dad knew that she bought the car, she was told that it had transmission problems. Her dad was sitting in the car. Okay? He wasn't going to come out because he already knew, hey, you know, he told you I had transmission problems. Because I texted her and I told her in person. Okay, so he didn't come out. I'm like, listen, you have a problem with it. And keep in mind, they're driving around in a brand new Mercedes-Benz C-Class. So, as you guys know, those are very, you know, expensive vehicles. They are very luxurious vehicles. And they're over here complaining to me about $50. I'm like, I cannot do this. So, you know, it just annoyed me, you know. And I've had multiple situations with that kind of thing happen. Like, I can't, and it's actually a thing with me, like, no lie, and I guess I'm racist in this sense, but again, I'm 50% white, and I consider myself 50% Mexican because my father, my stepfather, who's, like, basically been there more of the time than my real father, I consider myself Mexican. So, I cannot sell to white people. It's just the thing I have, like, I cannot. They are so, like, I tried selling the car, and again, I'm not selling a new car. I'm not gonna sell you a new car for, you know, $1,500. Like, people will message me and try to buy a new car for $1,500. You know, that's not the case. You know, I sell used cars for a reason. And basically, I was selling a used Dodge Ram 1500 Hemi 4x4. Now, this is a good truck. I have pictures of it. It had beautiful midnight blue paint. I believe it was midnight blue. Something like that. It was like a bluish black pearlescent paint. It was beautiful. It had off-road rims on it that I put on it myself. It had a nice radio. It had a tall lift kit. You know, it was just a beautiful truck nonetheless. And I loved the truck. The problem was, it was too tall for my dad to tow any cars with, so we sold it. We were selling it for $5,000 because, you know, that's a reasonable price to ask for the truck. You know, it's a nice truck. It's good. It's reliable. It's a Dodge, and as you guys all know, Dodges are very reliable trucks. long as you take care of it. Had beautiful interior, not a single rip. It was leather mixed with cloth. You know how they have the basically it was a fully loaded edition. And you know, people came by and they nitpicked everything. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, people that came by, I had a lot of people coming by. I had, you know, a bunch of people coming by because it was a nice truck. It was a 4x4, and it was for only $5,000. So I had one guy come by. He was white. He was a younger white dude, maybe 17 or 18. I mean, he had the money. Okay, his mom dropped him off in a. I can't remember what it is. It was a freaking luxurious vehicle, but it was a new one. It was like a Lincoln MKZ or some crap like that. Basically, it was a nice car that you knew his mother had money and he had money. Okay, and she was spoiled. But he did not want to pay money for it. So, you know, he's sitting there nitpicking every little thing. And at this point, I was just having a bad day. Like, you know what, go kick rock. Go buy something else, you know? Like, again, not a single dent, nothing like that. He just, like, find little things like, oh, look under here, you know, it's got a little piece, like, a little scratch underneath the vehicle where it probably scratched because it bottomed out. And I'm like, yeah, it probably bottomed out somewhere. And he's like, oh, what do you mean probably? Did you not own it when you were driving? Did you not drive it into that? Or do you not know how that got there? I'm like, no, I'm a dealer. He's like, oh, so does that mean you're not selling me the car? And I'm like, little things like that, you know, I can't even sell a white girl, like, no lie. And then I had a old black girl and her husband come by, and she bought it. She looked at it and she loved it. She did not nitpick, nothing like that. Okay? And I guarantee, tip for you guys out there who are selling cars. If a white person messages you and says, hey, I'm a buyer, they're probably not going to buy it. An Hispanic, black person, Cuban, any other race than white says they want to buy it, but they want to go take a look at it. Chances are they're going to buy it. Okay? They like it, they're going to buy it. If a white person likes it, they're going to nitpick every little thing about it. I promise you. Literally happened to me yesterday when I was selling the car for my mom. Guy comes by, nitpicks every little thing, you know. I'm like, you know what? I literally told him, go kick rocks, I'll sell it to somebody else. He left. Him and his son left in their van and left. Got in their van and left. Like 20 minutes later, they came by and said, hey, listen, we want it. We'll pay the money you're asking for it. You know, my son likes it. I'm like, all right, we'll sell it to you. You know, that's really something that's like, it's like one of my little pet peeves. Like, Dave, what would you do in that situation?
I really don't know, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I don't know how I'm gonna take over my parents' dealership. Like, I'm gonna have to hire somebody who's got, like, patience of a saint to do that.
You really will.
You know, like,
Because you already know I do not have patience.
yeah. Like, alright, you know what?
I will legit spam you on Snapchat or your phone and be like, babe,
Yeah.
babe.
In fact, I'm gonna explain to you, this is the worst one ever, and really and truly, I genuinely wanted to hit this one. Now, here's how it goes. I was selling a car. Now, this was before my parents were legal car dealers. This was when they were basically buying cars and selling them off the street. So, this is basically when they didn't have their dealer's license, they didn't have a dealer tag. Basically, what they would do is they'd find a car on Craigslist, they'd message the guy and buy it, and then they put their tag on it, not sign a title, and let's say they get pulled over, they'd sign it before they got pulled over, be like, look, I just bought the car, I have 24 hours to drive it to my house. They drive it to the house, and if they signed the title, they did a new one, and if they didn't, then they'd sell it with the old person's name on it. And basically, I was selling a car, and this person came up to me, and they're trying to buy it off me. Now, basically, what happened was, they came up to me, and they were trying to buy the car, and they were being really nitpicky, and at the time, I was with my father. I was with my stepfather, and my mom was inside the store, and she's calling my dad and asking him what she wants. Now, when these people asked whose name was on the title, my dad was like, my wife's. Now, when my mom called, my dad's like, Jennifer, just get whatever you want. And then they're like, Jennifer, who's that? And that's basically where it went downhill, because they had the money on the car at the moment. They signed the title, and then they're like, listen, they're like, alright, well, have your wife send me a picture of her ID. And obviously that's where it got problematic. So, basically my dad was like, alright, no biggie. He called the lady, he's like, hey, can you send me a picture of your ID? And this is where it kind of annoyed us, me and my dad, because the lady was being racist. She's like, oh, why do you need a picture of my ID? I signed the title, didn't I? And he's like, yes, I need a picture of your ID though, for the DMV. She gave him a bunch of crap. So basically, we at this point now had a car with a title that did not have his name on it, and was already signed with somebody else. So basically what that means is that the people that didn't buy the car signed their name on the title, and then said, "Oh, we don't want it anymore," and gave the title back to my dad. And basically just, they didn't buy it, and they signed their name on the title. So you guys can understand where that gets problematic for trying to sell it, because, we're trying to sell it, it's got somebody else's name on it. That kind of, annoyed me. That really did just, me and my dad were both mad there because, I mean, you guys would be too. Like, how, you'd be mad at that point, right, babe? Hello? You'd be mad at that point too, right? Like, somebody just, so we were like, alright, because at this point, we say anything, somebody's gonna get hurt, okay? So we just went, forget it, we went, whatever. We sold the car. Or we didn't even sell the car. We drove home, we're like, so mad, like, me and my dad were just in the car, high blood pressure, because me and him both have high blood pressure, we're just sitting there, mad. Now, luckily, at this point, our neighbor was working for us, and my dad was like, listen, here, sell the car, do not sell it from your front yard. If you do, it was all you. I'm not gonna say I had no idea what you were talking about. Because, again, it became, non-legal at that point. So, he sold it from his yard because he was too lazy to go to the gas station to sell it. And personally, that just made me and my dad mad. My dad fired him. Well, he didn't fire him. He suspended his working privileges for like a week because, he didn't listen. He was being an idiot. Luckily, that never came back to him, but still. It was still pretty dumb for that to happen. And to bring me into the next one I have, which was a situation where my uncle almost got arrested because basically some guy was, like, being racist. He, my dad went to sell him a car and he was, being racist towards my dad and my uncle. He told them to go cut their grass, his grass. It's a white dude. And because my dad would not sell him a car, it was a 2009 Volkswagen Jetta, fully loaded, leather interior, sunroof, everything. It had rims, it was tinted, it had the factory rims for the Jetta. He was basically selling it for a good price. It was like $3 or $4 grand. And again, this is a fully loaded car. These vehicles are worth it. Basically, my dad would not drop the price. He was very firm on the price. $3,000 or $3 or $4 grand plus tax tag and transfer. Obviously, the guy was just mad about it. He said, he said something racist about cutting grass, and my uncle just got mad about it. And my dad wasn't being serious here because, he wasn't about to do that. Basically, this dude gets in my dad's face, and my dad's got a clean record, okay? My uncle, however, does not. My dad just went, Tito, hit this nigga. My uncle got up in his face, was about to hit him. Dude didn't say nothing, they left. Okay? And honestly, that's something that, again, just, it makes me mad. It makes me a little bit not want to do car deals for my job in the future. But at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, I'm okay with dealing with people like that. Because, I can somehow deal with that. I've got that kind of power, and that's the thing. White people will nitpick at the smallest little things. I was selling a lawnmower, okay? I was selling a Craftsman lawnmower. Now, you guys know how Craftsman work. Craftsman are good at lawnmowers, make good lawnmowers that last, they last a little while, okay? So I'm selling, it was a ride-on lawnmower that basically I turned into a go-kart. Because, my parents were like, listen, we're not going to give you a go-kart. But we bought this lawnmower from this guy who used to work, by our warehouse. And, they bought it for $100. And they're like, fix it up, you can do whatever you want with it. So I fixed it up. I fixed the engine. I removed the governor. I basically made the thing a decent amount faster. I then also took off the deck, and it had a small amount of rust on it. So again, even though I had rust on it, it was still a good mower. If you bought a new deck and you put it on underneath, it would still be a running lawnmower. However, one night, I left the lights on, so the battery was dead. And basically, my stupid self was like, alright, I'm gonna jump it with my dad's truck. Now, my dad did not have a small truck at the time. My dad had a Chevy Silverado 3500 dually. So, hooking up a small little lawnmower battery up to that truck was not a good idea. Because it did not turn the lawnmower on, but it pretty much destroyed the battery. The battery was useless after that, and basically filling that lawnmower became a very big issue because I didn't have a battery to prove it worked, and I had a lot of issues. Had a freaking old white guy come over, and he's like, huh? I think she was talking to her mom. I had an old white guy come over, and, he was, over here talking so much crap about it. He's like, oh, well this, oh, well that. And keep in mind, this is a Craftsman lawnmower. Normally it takes a 38 millimeter, or 38 whatever, like whatever they use to measure the deck of the lawnmower. So 38 of those units long deck had worked good, and basically the only issue was one, the battery didn't work, and then after I posted it, the tire stopped working, so I reposted it. Like the tire just broke off and it was just a rip. Okay? Or the rim, it was just a flat tire that basically didn't work because I put Fix-A-Flat in it. So basically that was the issue it had. So I was like, alright, whatever. I'm just gonna be normal about it, just not gonna start with it. Okay? Basically the guy came over, he was talking crap, and he was being racist because I wasn't actually the one showing it at that time. And it was showing it like getting annoying, Now, eventually he did buy it. He nitpicked every little thing about it. Like, for example, the key I had to start it, because I had actually lost the starter key, the original starter key I had lost. It was obviously it was a Craftsman lawnmower starter key, but I had lost that key. So basically what I used to start it was, instead of starting it with a screwdriver and making it look like I stole the lawnmower, I simply started it with a Cadillac key that I had. I had a key for a Cadillac laying around in my house. It fit in the ignition slot perfectly because I actually still have a set of Cadillac keys for a Cadillac I have in my office. Let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like, if I can find it. Actually, no, I have a key for a Buick here right now that's for another set under the car. As you guys can see, they have this chip. This chip is to ensure that the car will start. If you ever make a copy of a Buick, Cadillac, or vehicle like that, like a General Motors vehicle that has one of these keys, you will need to copy this chip or else the vehicle will not start. Or if it does start, it will have security issues. It will have an issue with security. Basically, it will say security alert, it'll shut off, and a bunch of issues like that because of this chip. Now, basically, since the key had that chip inside of it, it basically stuck inside of the ignition of the lawnmower that much better. It basically made it easier for it to start, so I obviously left it in there. And the guy's over here like, oh, you stole the lawnmower. He's like, basically, he's like, listen, I should probably call, he's like, I should call the cops on you for trying to steal a lawnmower you stole. I'm like, really, how did I steal it? He's like, well, you don't have the key for it. And at that point, I just said, you know what? I said, get the fuck off my property. I said, go, kick rocks, go somewhere else. I'm like, I'm not selling it to you. I don't care how much money you offer me. Get out, get lost. So he jumps in his truck, and, little petty white boy gets in his truck, turns it on. It was a 1500 Hemi, turns it on. You know how they do the way their engine starts. I mean, I can't complain about the way their engine starts. Those things start beautifully. Okay, turned it on and just slammed his gas. All four wheels just started spinning, left tire marks in my yard, and he drove off, flicking me the bird. I'm like, I don't care. He's never gonna find a deal like that for what he's trying to get, and the way he treats people, there's no way he's gonna get one. Okay, because he was talking crap to me because I was not gonna sell it to him for a small price. And for those of you out there who are trying to buy a car, or who are trying to buy a house, or trying to buy anything, okay, sugar gets you farther than salt. Okay, if he was nicer and he wasn't as much of a freaking, well, straight up, huh? Yeah, she said the word for me. If he wasn't like that, I would have probably sold it to him for a cheaper. I would have been like, you know what? You're a nice guy. You've been good. You haven't been complaining. You haven't been nitpicking. I'll sell it to you. Yeah, I'm saying. I would have sold it to him because he only tried to get $10 off the price. But the problem was.
Okay, a little fun fact about me now. I'm a picky eater.
Oh my God, same. So basically, again, that's something that just, trying to be nice. Like, if you're trying to buy something, be nice to the person, okay? Because chances are, if they like you and they think you're a nice person, they'll sell it to you for cheaper.
More likely get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that guy, if he would have been nicer, I probably would have sold it to him. But the way he treated me, he's like, oh, the wheel, he's like, the wheel is, broken. I'm like, yeah, and I literally told him, yeah, I know what's wrong with the mower. Everything you're telling me is what I told you on the text message before you got here. Okay, and I said before you got here, don't complain about what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong with my mower, you don't need to tell me. And, it's just something that annoys me, Like, if you're selling something, alright, let's say you're selling me a dirt bike. Let's say you're selling me a dirt bike. Okay, another issue I have, I hate selling stuff, but at the same time, it makes so easy money. Okay, so if you're selling a dirt bike, like I was selling a dirt bike. Now, what was wrong with it was that I did too much stunts with it. Yeah, I was a little bit of a daredevil when I had it. Basically, one day I drove it to school and or my bus stop, and a bunch of my friends were like, "Dude, you should mess around with it and whatnot." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I'll do some tricks with it and whatnot." Basically, that's what I did. I was doing tricks. I was popping wheelies, nearly busted my head open, but whatever. You know, my uncle drove it home for me that day, and basically when I got back, I drove it. Okay, I drove it around and I hit a bump, hit a speed bump, and I hit it too fast, and my rear suspension, it buckled, and then it went up and it lifted. So that was obviously very bad. I didn't like that. I was like, oh crap, my dirt bike is moving. Now, luckily, my parents got it for free because somebody who bought a car. My parents were going to sell them the car for $600 anyways, but they wanted to see if they would give them any more. And basically, the guy was like, listen, I'll give you $600 plus a dirt bike. And my parents were like, all right, we'll take that. And they gave me the dirt bike as a gift for getting my grades up. So I was like, all right, that's nice. I mean, I had to work for it. They're like, listen, okay, we got this for you since you got your grades up, but if you want it, you have to do this, 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 this. I'm like, all right. I did some work for them, and I'm like, all right. I cleaned up one of their cars, and I helped them out and all that. And basically, they gave me the dirt bike. So when I sold the dirt bike, because again, it was broken, and I wasn't about to fix it. I was just like, you know what? I'll cut my losses and sell it. Okay. So when I was selling it, the guy came by. He clearly had money. He was driving a 2013 Dodge Charger SRT8 Hemi. Had freaking, I think it was like 20-inch rims. He was wearing brand new Jordans. Basically he was looking, like he had money. He had a big gold chain on. He had he had a Rolex. Okay. And he came by and he's trying to buy it off me. So I'm like, all right, I'll sell it to him. I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not going to sell it. So basically he's like, all right. He starts talking to me. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to buy it for my son. He said he's going to fix it up. And he wasn't nitpicking, he was like, I like it. It was at night, he liked it, he liked everything about it. And I'm like, alright, I'll sell it to you then. He's like, but I can't bring it home, could you deliver it and I'll pay you an extra $30 or an extra $40? I'm like, you know what, alright. You pay for me and my parents' breakfast, $50, and I'll deliver it to you. So he's like, alright. So I put it in my dad's truck, me and him brought it down to the guy's house, and he paid me to deliver it. He paid me to deliver it the night before, so I was like, alright. Then when I got there, he's like, listen, I don't want to buy it. Now, I'm not going to complain because he gave me $50 non-refundable. So either way, even if he didn't get it, he lost $50. But basically, he was trying to pay less. I brought it to him and he's like, I didn't realize that there's this issue, there's that issue, there's this, there's that, there's this. I'm like, well, should have thought about that last night because now it's here, so let me get the money. And he's like, no, I'm not going to buy it. I'm like, alright, bet. I got in my dad's truck and we were about to leave, and the dude's like, no, wait, I'll buy it, because he knew I was going to leave. He knew he was losing $50 if I did leave, but, that's the kind of people I hate. Like, you trying to get me to take $50 off, or, stuff like that. Like, babe, you would have left too, right? I think she's doing something for her parents right now. Yeah, I'm still on the phone. I love how we do this. Like, I'll leave her on the phone while I go do, like, chores for my parents, and she'll do the same thing for me. It's like, it's fun. Basically, it was just something that kind of annoyed me. It's something for you guys to know. Okay, if you're gonna buy something, like, let's say I go on to what I have with OfferUp. OfferUp allows you to offer a price for something. If you offer, let's say I say, can I buy this for $50 or $60? And they say yes. What you should do is, instead of saying, okay, let me come take a look at it, and then taking a look at it and trying to get it for, $40, even though you offered $60, you're not going to get it for $40. Even if they'll accept $40, they won't sell it to you personally for $40 because they know you offered them $60. And they know you have $60. Now, a personal tip I'd recommend to all of you guys who are trying to bargain hunt is, let's say I see this piece of paintball gear, or let's say I see this TV on Instagram or Facebook, or like, something like that, and I want to buy it. What I'd do is I'd offer them a pretty low amount of money. Let's say like I found this set of paintball gear on Craigslist for $200. I offered the guy $120, and he immediately responded. So what I did was, instead of saying, all right, I'm gonna buy it for $120, or instead of saying I'm gonna go to him and get it for that $120, what I'll instead do is I will get my brother's phone, because my stepbrother was here. And I will then offer him $80, which is exactly what I did. I got my brother's phone and offered him $80. from my brother's phone number. And basically, I said, hey, will you accept $80? Right? Will you accept $80 tonight? And he said, yes, I'll accept $80. Now, the reason I did that is because since he accepted the 120, I knew he was desperate. I knew he needed the money. I knew he needed the money. I knew he obviously needed the money for something. And basically, you could tell he was desperate. So he's like, all right, yeah, tonight. So I'm like, all right, I sold it to him for $80 that night. And like, this is just pretty much turned into a tips on how to sell stuff. Like, another thing, if somebody offers you money, like for something, like if you're selling a car and they say, let's say you have it on there for $3,000 and they say, I'll give you $2,300 or $2,800 or $2,900 or $2,700. Like, let's say I post the car for $3,000. You say, I'll give you $2,700. Now, you've gotten offers for $3,000, but you don't know if this guy's for real. So you want to call his bluff. So you say, all right, I'll do it for $2,700 tonight only. Now you'll know whether or not they actually have the money, because they'll be like, all right, I'll do it tonight only. Okay. So again, that's one of the things right there. Just like little tips for you guys. Another tip, if you're a flipper, because that's basically what my parents did before they were actual dealers, is they flipped. If you're one of those, if you're a flipper, do not message dealers. Like, that is the most annoying thing. I'll be selling a car and I'll get a message from somebody who's trying to buy it and resell it. And it's just like, read the ad, you have to do tax, tag, and transfer. There's no way around that. Like, you can't get a new car and not pay the 6% sales tax. You can't get a new car and not pay pay to get a new tag. And you cannot get a new car and not have to pay the transfer fee, which is basically, fancy terms, the fanciest way of saying dealer fee. Because whenever people hear dealer fee, they get thrown off. They're like, no, I'm not going to pay a dealer fee. That's a waste of money. But of course, if you hear transfer fee, that's like, now that's just like a little insight of, a dealership's life. Because, fun fact that you guys might not have known is that a dealer fee is actually required. So, even though it may not, you may not believe that, dealer fees are actually required, even if the person, like, in most cases, the dealer fee is actually, most cases, the dealer fee is given to the person who sells you the car. So, like, let's say I sell you, let's say I work at Dodge and I sell you a brand new Dodge, Dodge Dakota or a Dodge Charger, a Dodge Challenger. And I say, all right, it's going to come with a $500 dealer fee. Most of the time, that $500 dealer fee is split between the person who sold you the car, and then there's a decent amount of, there's some money that goes to the person who does the paperwork. Now, you're probably like, what do you mean the paperwork? I mean that, well, that person that got that dealer fee does not get the money from the paperwork. He does the deal. However, somebody else in his little, dealership takes that paperwork and then brings it to the DMV. Now, at the DMV, what they do with that is they simply just take the paperwork and they do it themselves. But of course, there has to be somebody to organize it. And of course, that's where the dealer fee comes in. They get paid a certain amount of money to do the dealer fee. Now, I'm fortunate enough because my parents did are car dealers that I won't have to deal with this when I'm in the future. But basically, my parents pay, I believe it is $250, something like that, up front every month to borrow this guy Ron's dealer tags. Now, once they get his dealer tags, basically, what happens is they are allowed to buy and sell cars from the auction. They pay $1,500 to buy this car from the auction, fix it up, sell it for $3,000, take do this all the sales tax and stuff, and then they give Ron $50 a car for him to do the stuff. Now they can choose to have more of a dealer fee for themselves. However, with other people in that association, he could say, all right, you, because you're new, I'm gonna say $400 a month for you. I'm gonna say $150 dealer fee for me, and do it that way. Obviously, they could do that. They could always do that, but it doesn't mean they are actually going to do that. But of course, it's all different. That's why a lot of people don't, get it when there's, like, you could go to Ford right now and say, all right, I want to buy this Ford F-250 Super Duty, but this guy's, giving me the runaround. He's trying to charge me $750 dealer fee. For all you know, the dealer fee at that dealership would be $500. He's only making $150 off that car. However, you could go to another dealership, let's say go to Chevy, and they offer you a Chevy Silverado, 3500 Super Duty. Then you're going to take it because he gives you a $500 dealer fee, But let's say in this case, he is charged only $250 as his dealer fee for the big guy. Okay, of course, a used car dealership and a new car dealership are two different things, very different. Okay, you're actually, no lie, much smarter getting from a used car dealership than a new car dealership. And even then, it's still much better to get it used than to get it new. Even though new comes with all the paperwork and not insurance, but like the warranty, I would always recommend getting a used car. In fact, the only new vehicle I will ever get is probably going to be when I'm older and I have to buy a truck for my dealership. But even then, I already know what kind of vehicle I want. It's going to be either a Dodge Ram Penny or something that a lot of people don't know about me, a Ford Excursion, because I actually love Ford Excursions. Even though they're outlawed in the U.S., they are still one of my favorite types of vehicles. The reason for that is because of their size. Ford Excursion, the 2003 fully loaded edition, comes with pre-installed, so basically Ford installs on these vehicles before you buy them, headrest TV, so on the front, the driver's seats, behind it, it's got a nice comfortable headrest, and then inside of that headrest is a TV, same with the passenger seat. The radio on those vehicles is a touchscreen TV radio with navigation and all that. It also comes with flip-down TV, all pre-installed. All of that stuff is Ford stock items, plus it's got a third row. They are just huge. They can see, a lot of people. They're just huge, nice to have. They're also very good for off-road. So, again, that's something else there. Pretty cool about those. And again, those are certain vehicles you can get used. Like, there's a lot of vehicles that I've actually been asked to make a video about this for my top 10 series. To basically go over the top 10 used vehicles that you guys should get. Because, again, a lot of people on my channel are actually from demographics of 15 to 23. So obviously, that means you guys are either getting used cars or getting cars. Just either about to get your license, just getting your license, or have just gotten your license recently. And of course, that's obviously, that obviously means that, you're learning how to drive. You need to get good cars. You need to know which cars are good. And honestly, there's a lot of vehicles that I have to recommend for you guys. But one vehicle I would definitely recommend for you guys, reliability-wise. Oops, 1 minute, I have to answer a call from my mother. Hello, Mom? Hello? I'm in the middle of a video. What do you need? Alright, hold on. Johnny, come in here! Hang on a minute. He's in his room. Let me get him. Here. I want to talk to you. Okay. So, basically, I'm going to be doing a whole separate video on that. But as of right now, I'm not doing a video on it. I'm going to be continuing doing this. But that will be a video added to my top 10 series. Now, I'm about to end this video guys out, so please do slap that like button to show you guys support. Like if you like it, share if you like it, and subscribe for more. I make videos like this on my channel all the time. I'm going to be making part 2 of this video later, but as of right now, it's only part 1. And it's not guaranteed to have part 2, but I probably will do it, considering where I'm ending. But yeah, like if you like it, share if you like it, and subscribe for more.